Let's do a stop practice. Stop whatever you are doing right now. Take a few breaths. Observe your experience in this moment. Then proceed mindfully into your next moment.
Welcome to Sacred Space. I'm Nex.
And I'm Krizel.
And today's topic, we're gonna be talking about
Energy and healing.
Yes. So it's a little bit of interesting topic for us because when we talk about health again, so this is part of our wellness episode, and when we're talking about health, as we said in previous episodes, it's about holistic health.
Yeah. Ngayon, maraming alternative medicines na tinatawag, no? And I only know a little bit about energy and healing. So, part ba yung crystal healing? Because I've seen that, yung crystal healing. But, this topic is much more explained by Nex because realm niya to. So, I'll be asking about many questions and showing fascination about this topic. So, next, what does it mean yung healing na tinatawag natin ngayon and energy?
Yeah.
Ano yung realm na yon when you talk about it? Kasi I only know it from a perspective of an outsider na when you say energy and healing, it's an alternative medicine. I think it can be considered, but I know maraming forms yon. No?
Yeah.
So, if you could kindly introduce what it means first.
Yeah. Before I go into that, medyo na-struck lang ako ng yung word na alternative, no? Kasi in this world naman, if something is generally accepted, then yun yung norm.
Mm-hmm.
And then when something is not as accepted, yun yung alternative. But when we talk about the kinds of parang things when it comes to energy and all that, that's actually an indigenous knowledge. So parang ngayon, siya yung alternative, but in the past, ito talaga yung norm.
So, pinaghugutan pala siya ng medicine, modern medicine.
Well, definitely. Parang whatever we have in the modern world would have something different from, centuries old of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
No? Pero when we talk about energy and healing, yung pinaka-basic tenet kasi niya is everything is energy.
Okay.
And sinabi natin ito dun sa isang episode natin na when we talk about holistic health nga, hindi lang siya yung body. Although we have to recognize that the body is actually an important component of health, no? Pero when we talk about energy, meaning the body is another form of energy. Parang this is the more formed, more concrete, more hardened form of energy. Pero pag pinag-usapan natin talaga yung everything else, kasi pag pumunta ka talaga dun sa scientific perspective, pag tinignan mo na yung atom and everything is really energy.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all moving, fast rates and everything, and we're all composed of those.
Right.
atoms.
I've heard from a movie that energy cannot be killed.
Exactly, right? And tayo, the physical body, alam natin, the physical body in a way dies, but in the perspective of energy, it changes form.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah, so naalala mo yung isang conversation natin, yung may different kinds of bodies.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, pag tinignan mo siya in another perspective, those are the different forms of energy that we take.
Okay.
Or that are actually there. Pero iba-iba talaga sila ng translation or manifestation.
That's interesting kasi I've always thought that our body can control the energy. Parang siyang capsule or parang siyang vessel ng energy na can hold energies.
Yeah. Punta muna tayo siguro sa a little bit more, and then later baka yung guest natin will shed more light kasi she really went into with full curiosity and wanting to learn and understand. She really got more into this, no? So sa akin kasi I won't say na ito ito lang talaga yung perspective ko. Parang this is one of the things how I see things. Pero yung to steep myself into it, baka mas yung guest natin yung makakapag-share about it. But for now, like, gusto ko lang magbigay ng isang example, no? I don't know if you've experienced this, pero ako, in particular, I go into a place and I immediately have a visceral reaction.
Ano ibig sabihin?
Parang ramdam ko, palpable siya. Alam ko yung, okay, wait, dark na energy dito.
Okay,
Oh, wait.
parang intuitive person.
Or meron kang ibang sensing na nangyayari.
Okay, yeah. I understand.
Like if I go into room, alam ko, pag dark, as in literal, may nasisense ako na madilim. Pero kahit na yung lugar, maliwanag.
Okay.
Yung ganon. Meron akong nararamdaman, minsan nararamdaman ko na makapal yung pakiramdam ko.
Or heavy.
Parang thick or heavy and all that. So yun. And for me, that's me being able to sense the energy.
But we are, since we're talking about energy and healing, what kind of healing are we talking about here? Kasi kanina nabanggit ko yan na it's an alternative medicine, as sabi ng mga Westerners. It's another perspective. Pero what sort of healing? When do you begin? What's the process like?
There will be different forms, like anything we've actually touched on dun sa mga podcast natin. No? Some people work with crystals in terms of using that for healing. May healing energies yung crystals. Some, yung pets. You know, the way we have our pets, that's actually a form of an energy exchange and an energy reception that we get. And even yung pag nagalit kang layo-layo ng pets mo.
Okay.
Diba? Ano yung isang gagalit? So, you can also look at it in that way, no? Parang ang strong nung nagiging repulsive yung energy mo versus yung andyan sila kagad sa'yo and then
Yeah, kasi may Western practice. I'm not sure if it's even Western. There's a thing called goat yoga. Have you heard of goat
Hindi ko pa
yoga?
narinig to.
So people actually go to a farm where there are goats and then put out their yoga mats and they do yoga poses with the goats.
With them.
So I feel like I'm not really privy to as to what the practice is all about, but you've mentioned na yung pets. So it must have been parang one of the practices of Hinduism. Kasi I've seen like movies such as that na sa Hindu perspective naman nila ginagawa. So if you are saying na yung animal has a healing capability, then that can be one of the practices. But you know, goats.
Hindi kasi siya medical perspective na I go to somewhere so that person will guide me to be healed. Hindi siya ganun.
And may reseta.
Oo,
may
hindi siya
prescription.
ganun. It's in the same manner of I'm feeling down and low and everything, and then when I go to like a forest and I go to, di ba, I somehow feel recharged.
Okay.
Or if I sleep, katulad nung binanggit ng isang guest natin na if I sleep and have enough sleep, then para ako nag-recharge.
So this type of healing is what you're saying is this type of healing is something that you can do personally.
Yes, we want to actually go into that, no. Ayaw natin yung hindi natin alam yung kung saan nanggagaling yung pinag-uusapan natin na topic. And so when we go into this, when alam natin may perspective in terms of what is energy and what is healing, but we really want to ground it into ano ba ibig sabihin nun when someone actually says I actually am able to heal, recognizing kung ano nangyayari sa energy ko.
Okay. So can you say na yung mga medically diagnosed person can do self-healing?
Yun ang hindi natin na masasagot ngayon, and we don't really want to go into that at this point. So we'll
Trigger
just,
question.
Yes, we'll actually go to our break now and we'll talk more about it. I think we'll have an interesting conversation.
Yeah,
with our guest.
Yeah, we are very excited for this guest because she will be uncovering truths about healing and energy and how this journey looks like and what it looks like for her.
Yeah, specifically her experience.
Yes. So please join us when we come back after this break. To get updated in our latest episodes, you may follow The Sacred Space by Conscious Heart Creations in Spotify, Google Podcast, and other podcast channels.
Follow Conscious Heart Creations in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We also invite you to be part of our Healing and Empowerment Community Facebook group and send us an email if you want to join our Emergent Theater PH activities.
You can find all the links to our social media accounts and email address on the description box. Welcome back to Sacred Space. And for this segment, we've invited a very special guest to talk about her experience on energy and healing. So please welcome Maya.
Hello everyone. Hello Krizel and Nex. So I'm Maya van den Broek, also known as Maya Flows, because of Little Flow Stories. It was in 2018 when I became really fascinated with energy, and I realized that flowing is very important, and one way to do it is if there is balance.
We're actually very interested more on your experience of it. No? When you talk about energy and healing, and you said that you realizing that you can actually heal yourself or even heal others by just recognizing, or by at least recognizing the importance of energy, and I'm wondering how you actually did that, and would you be able to share some of your experiences?
Yeah, and how you got there. Parang
Yeah.
ganun.
Yes. Okay. So one of the first things I did was to forgive. Forgive myself and forgive others that I had resentment and anger towards. And that was very hard to do, easier said than done. But other people were able to do it, so I just followed them. Blessed with loving kindness. And after several months, I could really feel that the etheric cord was gone. I didn't feel resentment and anger towards them anymore. No, but then other incidents happened in my life, particularly last year. I was walking first in Davao and later in Germany. I was just walking when the entire left side of my body went limp, and I was rushed to the hospital. So it looked like a mini stroke, but they did all sorts of tests on me, and the doctors couldn't really say if it was a stroke. I was thinking of a healing white light penetrating every cell in my body and healing me. So by the time I got out of the hospital, or while I was still in the hospital, I was feeling fine. And I really told the doctors and nurses, let me go, I feel fine. No? And then later that year, in September, something terrible happened. I was walking in my parents' farm when I got stung 21 times by hornets.
Oh no.
Yes, and that's super painful. This time around, I decided I will not go to the hospital. I will not take any medicines. I want to heal myself because I had read about Joe Dispenza, the neurologist. I was very inspired by him and other people like Wayne Dyer and Louis Hay, who also did self-healing. And of course, all my pranic healing friends, they have various healing stories as well. So I was, for a split second, I thought I'm going to die because the poison was really excruciating. Then I shifted and said, okay, I'm going to imagine a white light penetrating every cell in my body, and the pain is just part of the healing process. So this incident began at 10 a.m. After this, so my father and the workers who were with me, they continued planting the trees while I waited for them because we had traveled to the farm from the house long distance. I didn't want to go home immediately. So I told them finish. After they finished, then I said, yeah, it's lunchtime already. Let's pass by the birthday party of our neighbor because we said we would come. I can just lie down. And along the way, there was the wake of a good friend who died suddenly. I said, I feel okay. Let's pass by just so I can see everyone and pay my respects. But the whole time I was lying in the car. I couldn't see in front of me. I was really in pain, but the whole time I was thinking, okay, the healing white light, I need to get well because the next day also was the first day of work for me. And I didn't want to take any medicines because that would make me groggy and sleepy, and I would make a bad impression. So I was really very firm. I should not go to the hospital and no medicines. If Joe Dispenza was able to do it and everybody else, I can do it. Long story short, when we got home, I took a shower at around 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. I was ready for bed. I took a last picture of myself and realized the swelling was gone and the pain was gone at 9 p.m. Only a terrible itchiness was left. So I realized that, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay in just a span of how many hours? It happened at 10 a.m. I went to bed at 9 p.m. and I was okay. And I really think it's because of that. Many factors, but the thinking really is very important. And I also, of course, knew the capacity of my body because I was eating well, I was healthy, I could do it. I never anymore thought I will die or I cannot do it. You know, I was very willful. So
Wow, that's an amazing story, Maya. And I think before I go more into what you just shared, I wanted to just unpack some words that you mentioned. Like first, you mentioned the etheric cord was gone. So maybe you could share what that meant. And then the second one is for some people they might not know what pranic healing is. So
Right.
those two things lang. Kasi napansin ko si Krizel was confused in those two.
I represent the mass.
in my own words, etheric cord. It's like because we are all connected energetically, even if we're not together physically, we are connected energetically. And because I was always thinking about them, I was kind of chained to them, even though we were not physically together. So I had to cut that energetic connection. I think that's what etheric means.
Alright,
Yes.
alright. I think that's pretty clear. Thanks for that.
Right.
Naman.
Yeah, oo. Medyo. Wala siyang part sa body, di ba?
Takot siya iba kasi may ginat talaga. So
No.
then the other
It's like an invisible umbilical cord
Yeah.
attached to people that you were close with, or that were once a big part of your life.
What about pranic healing? I've read some articles about healing nga and energy. And I know for a fact that one of the methods of self-healing, or how do you call it properly, politically correct terminology, can be pranic healing, pero I don't know any background on that. So if you could give a little bit background of pranic healing. I know crystal healing is one. We've also mentioned that a while ago.
Sige, there are so many things to say about pranic healing, but the founder of pranic healing, he's Filipino-Chinese, Grandmaster Choa Kuk Sui, is from Cebu City. And ever since he was 12 years old, he was fascinated with all sorts of healing. So he experimented a lot. He studied and experimented, and he experimented with clairvoyants who could see energetically,
Oh yeah.
and really amazing esoteric people. But as a result of that experimentation, he made books. He made books which now pranic healers are using to heal people in different ways, using intention, visualization, and energy, which we call prana. It can be divine energy or it can be energy from nature, the earth, plants, what else, the sun. And so it's a no-touch therapy. We don't really touch people. Even if we're face-to-face in the same room, the pranic healer will not touch the patient. Everything is, she will work with the energy of the person, because the physical body will be healthy or sick depending on how healthy and sick the etheric body is. No? So people, we Filipinos, since we're living in a tropical country, we take a shower every day. pranic healing is like uh spiritual or energy shower.
Okay, yeah. And
Yes.
while you're saying pranic healing, no, so some of our viewers may be experiencing some kind of disease, illness. Is it something that they can easily avail?
Yes.
Hmm.
It Grandmaster Choa Kuksoy, I will not name names, but in his study of the different healing modalities being used in the world today, he realized their weaknesses, and so he tried to correct that or to improve that, and he wanted it to be so simply understood that people can learn it quickly, that you don't need to study for 4 years before you can do pranic healing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
but
And
but
yeah, how does it
yes.
usually look like? So if I'm coming from, for example, I'm a person who just found out I have cancer, and I want to
Mhm.
do pranic healing. I want to try it if it works for me. How can I avail that in the Philippines? In the Philippines.
Is it the same like, traditional
Yeah,
medicine? Do you go to
oo.
somewhere, to someone?
Yeah, is
Yeah.
it
Yes.
similar to like going to a doctor's appointment?
Yes. So you look for pranic healers, and in the Philippines we have several centers in Luzon,
Mm.
in the Visayas, and in Mindanao.
Okay, that's good
So
that
yeah,
research is actually available.
and they're also found online. No, in fact, a lot of pranic healers, they started out as patients
Themselves.
of pranic healers, and then they realized, wow, it's working for me. So why don't I learn it as well?
All right. So, do you consider yourself a pranic healer at this point, Maya?
Yes. Yes, I'm a pranic healer, but I'm not really certified pranic healer. No,
At
you
the
have
certification.
Oh, okay.
yes, so you have to heal several people, and there are several tests. So
See.
Pero you
yes.
mentioned that this kind of healing doesn't need like touching the patient or whatnot. So
Yes.
does it automatically mean you can actually heal people online? Kasi you know naman nowadays, medical diagnoses are done online kasi no face to face.
Yes, you can heal people online, or we call it distance healing.
Distance
So
healing.
even if it's not online, usually the best time that healing happens is when the sick person is asleep.
I see.
So you agree with the patient, what time will you sleep? Okay, before sleeping you say this prayer, and then I will do the rest,
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
like
that's
that.
how it looks like pala. But there's a process. I thought you're just gonna say, okay, just do your stuff and then I'll sleep.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is really a very interesting topic, and I think we've even exceeded so much more
Yeah.
beyond our time
Yeah,
now.
pero final advice, I
Yes.
guess.
What would you say to people with regards to energy and healing? And even maybe the idea of self healing or energy healing?
I've thought a bit about what to say because there are so many tips I can give. But I think during the pandemic, I think it's very important that we constantly ask, what's the lesson I need to learn that I'm not seeing? So make every opportunity, good and bad, painful and joyful, an opportunity for learning and growth. And so how do you get there? Then we will be I wanted to say forced, but it doesn't sound good. But in my case, I really went inward, and I started meditating more than ever before, and journaling, and because I was so reflective and introspective, I had so many aha moments and synchronicities that helped me realize a lot of things about myself. No, the influences that I have that limit me, that box me, and also a lot of realizations about my habits. And that's when I started experimenting with food, experimenting with fitness, experimenting with different ways of talking to my parents, talking to my colleagues. No, so a lot of things happened as the result of asking what's the lesson that I need to learn that I'm not seeing.
I guess now would be the perfect time to promote your book and invite, readers.
Yeah.
To
Yes.
Yeah. And whatever it is that you like to promote, and so that people who are interested in what you've done and what you're doing can really take note and follow or whatever it is.
I don't have a book yet, but my big ambition is really a book on energy. No? To put the whole gamut of energy, like the electromagnetic sphere of the world is only 0.005% of what exists in the universe. That's mind blowing. And visible light is just a streak of that 0.005%. So yeah, that's in the future. I will write about that. No, but so you can check out Little Flow Stories, www.littleflowstories.com. These are stories about grit, resilience, and transformation of ordinary people. And basically, the idea is for people to be inspired to maybe try some of what these people have tried, to learn from inside. So you don't really need to experience what they experience, but you can still try it out.
Thanks so much, Maya.
very fulfilling.
Krizel learned
afternoon.
so much from you. Pero,
Salamat, Krizel and Nex. I really enjoyed it.
yeah, thank you for sharing, and we hope to have you at some point again. Maybe in the near future.
Yeah, in the
or
coming episodes.
coming episodes or even seasons. So thanks,
Yes.
Maya.
Okay. Bye.
Space. Bye.
Bye.